What up, everybody? It's your boy Sheik here. As you can see, got my little LED going right here. You know. Anyway, today we're gonna cover what happened to Spy and what I see moving forward. I'll probably get into some Tesla and Nvidia as well, just to kind of recap with those since we trade those a lot and let you guys know what's going on. So let's hop into Spy real quick. I always open up with the weekly. As you can see, we've been testing this previous high from March 2022, which is around 460, 458, 460 area. We couldn't quite break it, so the rejection happened there. It started there, but when we get into the lower time frames, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this was a big area that we needed to break. Obviously, 455, we broke a little bit above, but 460 ultimately to push us to all-time highs. But couldn't do it. Let's look at the daily chart. Obviously 460, massive rejection that day, huge sell-off. We came right back up, couldn't quite get past again, and we dropped back down. We gapped down right underneath this 452 level. What you want to see is to gauge these levels is basically look for previous resistance that turned into support. So this area right here, 450, 451, 452. As you can see, for a few days it was resistance, went over, created a new support right here at 452. As soon as we broke below, we had a couple days of it trading below it. We went back up on Friday and tried to break right back above. As you can see, we had that massive sell-off down to the 50-day moving average, which is 445, 446 area. Now, what I'm thinking is either we hold here, push up, but what I really want to see is a test of this 444 level. As you can see, we used it as resistance for a few tests, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tests before we broke above it, and we really never came back down to test it. So I would love to see a small dip, just like we did here, and here, to 444 before we bounce back up and try to break 452. So 444, 452, 446, and then 460, big levels. If we do break below this 450, this 50-day moving average, now usually what that signifies is a short-term downtrend. If we break that, we're probably coming back down, to these 438 level. Then we got 431. Below that we got 420, but 415 is my ultimate level right here. This 415, as you can see, it was a huge resistance for a while, for at least a few weeks. We couldn't quite hold above it, and then when we finally broke, we haven't looked past it. So this would be a huge opportunity if we can come back down and test this 415, which kind of coincides with the 200 moving average, 415, 420 area. So I would love to see that, but my opinion, I think we test this 444 or even hold here and we bounce back up. Now, if we go to the hourly, we can kind of see what exactly happened on Friday a lot clearer. So obviously we couldn't break this 460. We had that massive sell-off, came back up, tried to retest it. Let's see what the fibs tell us here, because this could be a retest. Golden pocket area, reject, drop back down. But anyway, if you look at price action, this 452 area, once we broke above it, we tested it 1, 2, 3 days. We try to, use it as support, previous resistance, turn to support, 452, broke below it, came back up, tested it, couldn't get across. Friday, we had a massive push up off of kind of Amazon and earnings and stuff like that. Eventually could not break above this level, had a massive rejection and a sell-off all the way down to that 446 area. Now, can we continue seeing selling? Yes, the earnings for Apple really isn't that great. It's a big part of the market. Could push us down continuously for the next couple of days. We do have CPI, PPI this week. That could contribute. Or, we can sell off Monday, Tuesday, and then bounce off good CPI back up to this 452. But we would need to clear these levels, obviously, 448, 450, 452, and eventually 460. If we can break this 460, we're looking at all-time highs. But as you can see, this 444 is a nice area I would like for us to test. It's previous resistance that turned into support. Now, going into Tesla, if my work, this thing would work. Let's see. Tesla, oops. Start at the weekly again. Weekly uptrend, obviously, we held that 100 level a while back. January, we pushed all the way up. Rejected this 300 level, as you can see. It's been a huge level before, resistance right here for weeks. Couldn't break. Finally, we broke above. Once we broke above, we ran. Used it as support. Couldn't quite, get above and hold it. Came back down, broke down. Used it as resistance, dropped down. Again, we're using it as resistance. So we tested it, broke down based on bad earnings. We're at this 250 level, which is where I would like to see it bounce. If not, we're probably going to see about 210. I would love for us to test it. If we look at the daily chart, looks like a head and shoulders forming. We can, this is one shoulder, this is the head. We could possibly bounce here at 250, go back up to 280 area right here, 275, 280, make another shoulder, and then collapse down, which would, play out the head and shoulders pattern. But, we can just, continue breaking 300. Who knows? It depends on price action. We don't try to predict what's going to happen. We react to what's happening. So right here, 250 breaks. We're probably looking at this 240 level. We have a gap to fill at 235. We break this 235, as you can see, we just kind of ran up. So it's got to come back down and test these, 210 level. So 235 would be a level to break, come back down, test the 210 area. If we can hold this 250 though, we'll go back up, to probably 270, 268. As you can see, this 262 was a big resistance area on Friday. Again, 50-day moving average on the daily. If we continue rejecting this area, this 262 to 265 area, we can, we can come back down this 210, as you can see, which is a 200 moving average, and then have a major bounce here. And like I said, that would play out a head and shoulders pattern. But we react, so we're going to see what Monday brings. But my thesis is we bounce on this 250 for a little while. We might even go back up to this 280, 275 area, and then maybe another breakdown. But we got to see what CPI, PPI does to the market, how the market reacts. But levels to watch is under 250, down to this 240, 235 area. Above 250, stays above 250, goes to 262 if we break that. 275, 280 is on deck. Break above that, 300. Now, last thing I want to show you guys on Tesla, the hourly chart, Friday. So we've been using this 254s as support, and Wednesday and Thursday, we slightly broke under it, came back above, tried to break above this 262 area right here. As you can see, an area of confluence, a lot of price action going on here. Could not, broke down all the way down to 253. So 250 is what we want to see hold, this level right here. If we break this low, we have some blood. But if you were playing intraday, now here's where my fibs come into play intraday. So we have the high of the morning, and then we had the low, right? We can go back to the 5 minute right now so you guys can see it clear. 5 minute chart. High of the day happened right in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Couldn't break above here. Came down. Touched the 256 area, bounce right now. Usually this is a downtrend day. We're below this 200 moving average. What you want to see is a retracement back to the golden pocket, usually the 50, 61. Anywhere in here we can reject. So as you can see, it came back up here. And if you would have taken puts midday, you would have banked a nice amount, because the rejection happened there in the golden pocket, and we reversed back down to the low. Now, golden pocket is good to use to get some good, safe re-entries, rather than trying to, look at candlesticks. If you look closely, if you're an experienced trader, this is kind of a tweezer top reversal, obviously, with a continuation red candle, and then we just continue to break down. But if you want to be more accurate, the fib levels don't really lie. There's no bias on them. It's just simple percentage levels. But anyway, that's Tesla. Nvidia is the last one I wanted to go over real quick before I end this video. Now, again, I start off at the weekly. Weekly wise, we've been chopping between this 440 and 480 level. Now, I'm going to say again, If you're a smaller account, stay away from NVIDIA unless we break below 440 or above 480. We're in a range right now. It's going to chop you out. If you're not an experienced trader, you're not going to be able to catch these up and down movements, catching the top and the bottom. Wait for a clear break one way or the other because we will get a huge move. Usually when we're in a range, when we break out, we will move. The calculated move will be what the range was. So here we have a range of 440 to 480. That's a $40 move. So if we break below, we're looking at this 400 level. Break above, we're looking at 520 around right here. So we usually, that's the calculated move when we break out of a range. Now, if we get down to the daily, one thing I really missed was I had this gap right here. This is the gap I was looking for us to fill, and we filled it pretty much on the dot, the 440 level. One, it was resistance before. We gapped above it, and we ran, right? And once we reversed, I told myself, once we hit 440, I'm going to grab some calls. Never did it. I'm hoping this is a second retest of that support before we jump back up and break this all-time high. So we'll see how Monday opens up. If anything, we can get some calls for a week, maybe 2 weeks out to be safe, for 480 to play this range. Follow our lead. Don't try to play it yourself. We are in a range still unless we break 480 or below 440. Now, we filled this gap right here. Now, if you look under 440, we have some levels like 420 and then 400. Obviously, 415 area is kind of another support, but not too big in my opinion. 420 and 400 is what I would see trade. Under that, 375, and then below that we have that huge gap, which I don't think we'll reach. As you can see, we held the 50-day moving average and the 440 level. So what I want to see is to grab some calls. Maybe we might get another test, but if we do break below 440, grab puts. But that's what I'm looking at on NVIDIA. If you look at the hourly, again, we broke down, came back up, retested the area, and broke down again. So we could go back down and test this 440, but again, we're going to react to how price moves on Monday. It might be a little bit choppy Monday, Tuesday with CPI coming out the rest of the week, CPI, PPI, but if we do get a move, we can see 440 tests again before we rock it up. Now, I do think CPI is going to be coming in because that's just the trend that's been going. I don't want to get into conspiracy stuff, but in my opinion, that stuff is cooked up. I don't believe in it, but it is what the market likes. So if we can test 440, grab some calls to go through CPI and see if we can break out completely and head out to all-time highs again. If we break down, we get some puts. 420 would be my target, and then 400. But like I said, come Monday, we'll see what happens. Anyway, it was great going over this with you. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. I'll catch you guys Monday morning on voice chat. I'm going to try to throw out another video out before the weekend's over, going over levels. It's been requested by a lot of people. Evil Banana, I got you, man. I will make a video after this probably on how I find my levels. But you can kind of tell from this video as well on how I find my levels. But I'll break it down and just do a 5-10 minute video on just levels. So peace out, everybody.